From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Good Wednesday morning. It's 5:30. Welcome to Montana This Morning. I'm Victoria Hill. Thank you so much for starting your day with us. Look who we have here. Miller filling in for Ed once again, and we kind of coordinated with the red here.
We did.
We're
looking good.
Yeah.
Did you see the tie?
I
don't know if y'all can see the tie or not. Like that. I thought about bringing a tie that made noises.
Ooh.
But the tie that I have, it decides to go off at improper times, and we could be in the middle of a serious story, and all of a sudden you hear jingle bells in the background, something like that. So I didn't want to do that. But you like the tie?
I like it. All the details, and that's really cute.
Okay,
yeah, super
all right.
cute. I like it.
Sweet, thank you. I do what I can. So cool. How you doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's Wednesday, one day closer to Christmas.
Yeah, and you called it earlier Christmas Eve.
Yeah, Christmas Eve.
I
and
like that.
I kind of do that on the holidays that come with an Eve, like New Year's Eve. And
so
my dad used to have a birthday Eve, so
oh, really?
I think I kind of got it from that. Yeah.
Cool. So 5 days from out, you'd be like Christmas Eve. All right.
Christmas Eve week. Yeah. Don't even get me started.
I love it. I'm still waiting for those cookies with the spritzer.
Oh yeah, the spritz
You got
cookies.
me thinking about that.
Yeah.
Well, I hope everybody's having a wonderful morning so far. It's starting to feel like Christmas out there, but don't hold on to any hope we're going to see any bit of a white Christmas. We'll tell you about that in just a bit. 19 right now in Billings at the airport, feels like 6. Winds out of the northwest at about 14 miles an hour, and they were ripping yesterday. We had a gust at the airport at about 58 miles per hour. That wasn't even the winner yesterday. We're going to show you a graph here in just a bit who got the highest wind gust yesterday reported in the area. Here are your headlines for today. It's going to be a quiet pattern all the way through Friday, so we're going to be nice and cold today, or colder, on target where we should be. It's going to be warmer for Christmas Eve and on Christmas Day, and we've got lots of sunshine on the way. You'll notice there at the bottom, no white Christmas this year. Sorry about that, folks. So take a look at temperatures around the horn. We've got teens and even some single digits out there sitting at the big Goose Egg and Cut Bank at the moment. And there are your winds pushing off to our east, still gusting to about 31 miles an hour in Miles City. Glendive, you're about 24 gusts. In Williston, you're sitting at about 32 with those gusts right now. Here's your day planner. It's colder than it was 24 hours ago. In fact, we were around 49 at this time 24 hours ago. We got up to about 56 for our high yesterday. Not the record, about 4 degrees shy, but we're not going to come anywhere close today. As you can see, our day planner not getting out of the 30s, and with the winds out there, there you go, just drink it in.
That is adorable. I love all the detail. You have to kind of, drink it in, exactly.
There you go.
Santa,
enjoy that. Well, take the whole thing out there. Yeah.
A little snowflake.
There you go. This is actually, if I'm not mistaken, it was drawn by a child from the Children's Miracle Network.
Oh, cute.
A couple years ago, and they gave me a tie on that. And I just thought that was very, very special, so I appreciate that.
Great artist in the making right there.
There you go. All right.
For a tie.
Very nice.
Cool.
Pretties this up a little bit more. Not much, but a little bit more.
Well, we can't wait to see your tie collection. Sometimes Ed would, he wears ties that signal something in the forecast. Like he has his polar bear tie, or his Superman with a little Thunderbolts tie. And
Ed's raised the bar. I'm going to have to work on that.
Up your tie game. No, you're off to a good start. All right, Miller, thank you so much. I'll get on to the news. Our top story this morning, a snag in the stimulus deal. President Trump takes to Twitter to question the bill, saying $600 stimulus checks are not enough. After largely staying out of the negotiations, the president is now suggesting he may not sign the bill. House Democrats say they will introduce an amendment tomorrow to increase the payments to $2,000, but it's unclear if it can pass the Republican-controlled Senate. The president also took issue with the billions of dollars going to foreign governments and things like museums. If this bill does get the president's signature, Montana farmers and ranchers would reap the benefits. Over $13 billion goes directly to the agriculture industry. More assistance for specialty crop growers and other farmers is included in the package, as well as a large investment in rural internet services. The bill also offers grants for small meat and poultry processors to upgrade their operations. Ag leaders say while this is all helpful, it's only a short-term solution.
Rather than take package like this, we'd rather have the markets available. And so the hurdle is to, maintain the trade that we're looking at now, and expanding trade opportunities for farmers and ranchers. We produce far more than we can consume. So what's going to drive our prices? Demand.
The Farm Bureau also praised the approval of these KT Water Compact, which they say will create more stability for ag water users. Also making headlines this morning, the CDC says the U.S. will record over 3 million deaths in 2020, making it the deadliest year in the country's history. COVID-19 is blamed for at least 322,000. Experts say the toll will continue to rise for weeks despite the availability of 2 coronavirus vaccines. Just yesterday, the U.S. reported more than 3,000 COVID-19 related deaths. The U.S. government is close to making up for a lost deal with Pfizer. Top officials are offering the drug company better access to manufacturing supplies in exchange for tens of millions of additional vaccine doses. It's something the U.S. passed up over the summer before the shot had FDA approval. The government's end of the deal will be made possible by the Defense Production Act. That gives the government power to tell private companies to make critical goods in times of national emergency. The deal will likely be finalized soon. Dr. Deborah Birx says she plans to retire. She became a household name when she was appointed as the coordinator of the White House Coronavirus Task Force. She has worked with the federal government since 1980. Birx says before she called it quits, she will help President-elect Joe Biden with his COVID-19 response as he transitions into office. Here in Billings, healthcare workers are going above and beyond to help COVID-19 patients. Q2's Janelle Slade introduces us to 3 nurses on the front lines who have been impacted by the virus in more ways than one.
It's like going to war. It's like you're going in there knowing that the department's going to be full, that you're going to have to wait for rooms, that there's going to be people coming in that are sick.
It's really hard right now to be a nurse, really hard. It's exhausting.
And working when people are dying and not their families not being able to come in and visit, just horrid.
From long-term care, the dialysis clinic, and the emergency room. All 3 nurses, all 3 facing COVID-19 head-on.
Every day we see people that come in and then, 2 weeks later they've passed away.
Brad, Shelley, and Sherry share a lot more than their profession. They're siblings who've been battling COVID-19 on multiple levels.
I found out on the 9th, late on the 9th, I was already at work, that my test was positive.
Sherry works at Canyon Creek Memory Care, the first official coronavirus outbreak in Yellowstone County, infecting dozens of people both inside and outside the facility walls.
Went in the front door and down the stairs where I stayed in quarantine.
Despite immediate precautions and isolation, Sherry's 82-year-old mom, who she lived with and cared for, was already infected.
She was disoriented and confused and starting to get a temperature.
And that was horrible, not to be able to come up and help her, to see my mom for the last time before she left the house. And that was the start of it.
The start of more than 3 months of their most difficult days. Their mom, Darlene Foote, entered the hospital alone. And just 6 days later, John, her husband of 35 years, followed.
They were on the same medical floor and didn't see each other.
With both parents critically ill, all 8 children faced difficult decisions.
We had made the decision. We knew that this was, she didn't want heroic efforts at all. We knew she wanted to be around us.
There was no way that I was not gonna allow her to come home. I would have done whatever it took, because I was not gonna let my mom die in the hospital by herself.
We are all so grateful for that time that we had.
We could all be the nurse at that point and all be kids at that point, so we shared the duties.
John finally made it out of the hospital. He made it home, but the damage from the virus plagued his body. And as Brad traveled with him to Cincinnati to be cared for by another sibling, John fell asleep for the last time. So after 105 days, this family was left to deal with the loss of both parents.
1 was a lot, but then 2 close together, that was the hardest. And trying to get John to his daughters. We didn't make it. We didn't make it to our final destination. He did, but we didn't.
Telling their story was not an easy choice. There's deep hurt and feelings of guilt.
I feel like it's my fault that they got it. I just do.
It's devastated our family. Like, we've all lost something.
But all of Darlene's and John's children, nurses and not, agree on a motive, a plea for all people to take precautions.
It's like, no, no, this is not going away. It's real. Please, please, just wear your mask. It's not asking too much.
Humanity is just being kind to other humans. Like, why would you not do one simple thing to protect someone else?
We're all tired and we're all worn out and we all want it to end, but it's not going to. And it's so much easier to be nice and caring. I hope people realize that at some point and make the sacrifices that are needed to get through this.
And Janelle tells us Brad contracted COVID-19 shortly after he was interviewed for this story. The stress it caused his body landed him in emergency surgery and forced him out of work for 3.5 weeks. Even though they've all had the virus, the 3 nurses say they will still get the vaccine. In other news, President Donald Trump announced he plans to issue full pardons for at least 15 people. Some of the pardons include George Papadopoulos, a former Trump campaign aide who lied to authorities during the Russia investigation. Also on the list, former U.S. Congressman Duncan Hunter. He was sentenced to 11 months in prison for his misuse of more than $200,000 in campaign funds for personal expenses. President Trump is expected to issue more pardons in the last few weeks of his term. In Helena, Montana's House Republicans can't seem to agree on rules for the upcoming legislative session. The Rules Committee failed to set any yesterday, meaning they'll have to do so on day 1 of the session. The GOP representatives proposed changing the rules to allow committee chairs to kill bills without a hearing and to require 67 votes in the full House to bring a bill stuck in committee to the floor. But when it came to passing the recommended rules, several Republicans voted against it, saying they liked the old rules. Democrats were in agreement. Now the full House will get to chime in on any changes January 4th. Now we go to Gallatin County, where a Clarkston woman is facing assault with a weapon charges after shooting a gun at her daughter's boyfriend. 39-year-old Amanda Allen's daughter invited the victim to their home for breakfast. Court documents state Allen got mad the boyfriend stepped in to make food. She began yelling at him and her daughter to get out of the house. Well, instead of leaving, the boyfriend pulled down his pants and mooned Allen. She fired a shot out the door and told him the next one was going in its back. Allen is now in jail on a $15,000 bond. U.S. Marshal for Montana Rod Ostermiller will retire on December 31st after nearly 30 years of service. Ostermiller was confirmed as U.S. Marshal in 2018 by a unanimous U.S. Senate vote. He was recommended by Senator Steve Daines and appointed by President Donald Trump. Ostermiller began his career with the service in 1991 and was named the Chief Deputy Marshal for Montana in 2004. The Marshal Service arrests fugitives, protects judges, and transports federal prisoners. And before we take a break, Christmas was made just a little better for 100 families in Billings thanks to the Boys and Girls Club of Yellowstone County. Yesterday, volunteers put together and delivered holiday meals to those in need. It's the 11th year the club has organized this event. The meals will put a smile on the faces of families who get them, but it seems like the people doing the giving are smiling as well.
They come out, they helped us every year. It seems like every year we get a little bit of a larger group and everybody works a little bit faster. We set new records every year when we're putting the meals together, but we just get together in an assembly line, throw all the boxes together and have it done in about 10-15 minutes.
We make a difference in a lot of kids' lives. I'm blessed to be a member of the Boys and Girls Club.
Thank you so much for starting your day with us here on Montana This Morning.